This has future superstar written all over it. Justin Carbonneau has came hot out of the gates to start the season in the queue, with all signs pointing towards him making a massive push to join this Blues lineup. And this leaves it for Jim Montgomery to have a huge decision to make with his starting lineups going into the season. We're going to break down quotes on Carbonneau, him in action in the queue, and so much more that you're not going to want to miss later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 3,780 subscribers, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys. And if you haven't hit the sub button yet, I just want to give a shout out to everyone watching this. We're trying to reach our goal of 4,000 subscribers before training camp starts. So if you haven't hit it yet, make sure to go down to hit it, and we'll keep you up to date on everything to do around the Blues. But with that, let's just hop straight into it today, where we're already seeing some action from the queue, where Carbonneau gets on the board for them, 4-2 preseason loss. Now listen, you don't want to take a loss in the preseason, but 1 goal, a -1, 7 shots on goal, and 2 hits. We're already seeing Carbonneau coming out and doing exactly what he's gonna do. Score a goal, shooting the puck, and hitting. Darius, what is your thoughts? And before we get into some quotes on Carbonneau, what is your thoughts on him coming out firing on all cylinders already?
Yeah, first of all, the preseason in the queue starts very early, so he has the opportunity to start playing with them before he's called to training camp for the St. Louis Blues, and that's an advantage I think that the queue has over some of the other junior leagues because they start so early. So he is getting games in, obviously in and around it the whole game. 7 shots on goal, had 2 hits. You don't have to throw hits in preseason, but he's in the game, right? Like he's trying to get into it very early here in this offseason still for the NHL to get ready for training camp. So that's a very encouraging sign. We know everything. We broke down, his work ethic and how much goes into his game and how much pride he takes in his game. We'll get into that in the video as well. But he's going to try and continue to build off the season that he had last year. And a lot of people are asking, is he going to be able to make the St. Louis Blues this year, or will he go back to the queue? We know, if he is sent down, he will be going back to the queue. That was up in the air as well. Will he go to school? Will he go back to the queue? He's going to go back to the queue if he is sent down. But again, a lot of people are asking, is he going to make the team? And I think it's really going to come down to a couple things. I think that, him being inserted into the lineup, if he looks good in certain situations, that's cool, but he has to look good consistently throughout the entire preseason when he's put into games, into scrimmages, whatever it is. He has to look like he can produce consistently, which I think he probably will be able to, especially at the NHL level at some point. But even right now, I'm very curious to see how he would do with that. But he has to look good in all areas of the ice, and he has to look like he's going to be consistent. If he's not, the St. Louis Blues have way too many players that they've acquired this offseason that are going to fill those roles. So can he make the team? I definitely think he has a shot, but he has to rise above the rest and really show that he can do it consistently in all areas of the ice with some poise, which I think that he can. He's shown that in junior, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him to go back to junior too, to work on different aspects of his game. We've seen that with different guys, like even Logan Mailloux did that in the AHL last year. He took a hit in terms of point production, but it was because he was working on different aspects of his game. So, if he does end up going back to junior, not the worst thing in the world, but does he have a shot? I definitely think so, but it's going to come down to that. Can he do it consistently? And the fact that he started the preseason like this in a league that, some guys, their ego gets big once they get drafted, right? They feel like they don't have to try that hard in their junior leagues, and especially in preseason. And Carbonneau is not doing that. He works hard and he takes pride in his game.
And I mean, the big thing is we're going to see him play in the preseason. We're going to see him playing in the preseason in the queue as well. And if you want to go catch his last 2 games, it is on screen. Catching Carbonneau in action before the preseason starts is such a treat for Blues fans, but it goes into even reporters around the Blues where they talk on what struck them the most about Carbonneau. They said his father, mother, and brother said in the article that he's always been very driven and applied himself. He didn't just turn on his work ethic when he got older. This is him. Now we know how good he is. He's a magician with the puck. He has an incredible shot, and he's going to battle out every single shift. And it gets very interesting when we see in the quote from Carbonneau during the rookie camp as well. My goal for training camp with the Blues is to take a spot or play a couple of games. I'm going to go all out and force their hand. Seeing the work ethic, we've seen articles on how he talked about Kobe's mentality and how he's put that into his game. I think it's going to be very exciting, and going into this Blues lineup, like you said, it's going to be hard to steal a spot from this team. We're going to touch on a few key points and players that might come out of the lineup, but my biggest thing is, if you're bringing Carbonneau, there's no point to have him as a healthy scratch or a 4th line player. He would have to be injected into the middle 6 at some point But I mean, Darius, looking at this, we know a big name on this list, Sundqvist, is a guy, a fan favorite. We've seen him win cups with the team, and we've seen 2 cups with him as well. But the biggest thing is, if he can jump into the lineup, if they can stretch the lineup and move Sundqvist down, would you be shocked if he outplays a couple of players on this team and we at least get 5 to 6 games to start the season?
Yeah, and I think that there's a real world where we do see him get the max amount of games before you can be sent down to junior once the season starts. I do think that that is an avenue that they're going to explore. You might as well, right? You're not going to burn a year off his ELC even if you end up sending him back down. So that's something I'm sure they're going to explore. You said it perfectly. I think he has to be inserted into the middle six right away. This is not a guy that can kind of make the team, be a healthy scratch. You burn a year of his ELC, maybe he's playing on the fourth line. That makes no sense. That's not the type of player that he is. And you have role players that you've acquired to play those roles, and they should be there. That's how a team works. So this is a guy that at some point, could be a first liner, could be a second liner in his career. We don't know where he's going to end up, but he's going to be a top 6 player at some point in his career. So he's going to have to play in the middle 6 in that role. So if he's going to make the team, he's got to be there. So if somebody's pushing him out and he's not going to make the team, send him back to junior. Let's not waste time here. Let's not waste any of his development playing him on the fourth line or anything like that. That makes no sense. But to get back to what he was saying and his work ethic and some of the points he's put up over the last couple of years, this is really encouraging, right? There's so many times that you may draft a player that has all the tools, but he just can't figure it out. Maybe they have low hockey IQ, right? A lot of people underestimate that. This guy is also a new age, or at least what I like to call, and you're seeing a lot of them in junior right now, a new age power forward. He's not 6'4", 6'5", or anything like that. He's a little bit smaller, not that much smaller, but a little bit smaller, but just the way that he plays, he drives the net. He likes to carry the puck. He's got a great shot, all of these things, and he plays a lot bigger than he is. So he's this new age power forward that comes with this whole other skill set of things that some other skilled players have, right? So it's very exciting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens through training camp. If he ends up surprising, he has that mindset coming in. Not too many guys also have that mindset. Of course, you're thinking you might make the team, but he's expecting to make the team. Like, he wants to come in and make that much of an impact. He knows what's asked of him. And if he's able to deliver on that, we're going to see at least 8 to 9 games of Carbonneau in the regular season, which is very exciting. So we'll see what happens. See if they if he forces their hand. But to me, like you mentioned, he has to be in the middle 6 or it's a complete waste of time. Even this in his young career at this age, he has to be in the middle 6.
And I think the big thing is, if he has a decent camp, he will be sent back, but he would have to go out and just kind of go off for this team. But I think at the end of the day, if he has a decent camp, I would not be shocked if we got him in for 1 to 2 games just to get him some NHL action, get him hungry to get back up. And listen, there's no hate to anyone on this roster. Carbonneau could make it over some of these guys, but coming into next year, if Carbonneau got a full-time position in the middle 6, I could see him scoring 20 plus points. And this is the scoring from last year. There's a lot of guys. Listen, Sundqvist is not going to go out and no hate Sundqvist at all, but this is a guy that's not going to go up to put up 30 to 40 points. I could see Carbonneau jumping in and being the Bolduc type player in a couple of seasons. What you guys' thoughts on this? Go down and leave a comment down below. And speaking of comments today, it's a 2-parter where we see a shout out to Infinity for being the first comment, and the second one, why does Pye sound like such a dork? I agree, we hate that guy. Take speech lessons. I will soon start a YouTube channel, whatever it is. But that'd be it for this episode of Blues Digest. If you enjoyed it and you want to be featured to comment today, even to call me a dork, go down and leave that down below. While you're down there, leave like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back another episode, so keep your eye for that, Blues fans. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius, a couple of dorks, and take care.